You know, I'll make you do it one
Oh,
way.
you're already on there.
We are now on YouTube.
I'm sorry, sir. That's only for constituents of the city.
Ron, if you bring that to me, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Are you, does he need time?
Thanks, Justin.
Actually, Justin, I think we'll probably handle you deeper into this.
Okay.
Oh, you're already on the agenda?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. I can come, do I need to sign it?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Good, don't worry.
Everybody knows everybody, yeah. I'm not even sure my Ron signed it.
Yeah.
Melissa told you to.
And I always follow orders.
Melissa's you better.
That's not what your wife said.
All right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. All the aldermen are present, along with Melissa Martin, our city clerk, and our attorney, Rocky Eaton. And if I could get Alderman Craig Bullock to lead some prayer and play.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. Thank you for beautiful weather. Thank you for a wonderful city that we can call home. And just thank you for the privilege to be here, to serve on the board, to live here, and to be able to be a part of making decisions for the forward movement of our city. God, we ask you to be with our meeting tonight, help guide our decisions, direct us. And I pray that what we will do and say will be pleasing to you. Forgive us where we fail you. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to get a motion to adopt the agenda with some changes. We were wanting to add the request to adopt an order promoting Michelle Fontaine.
Motion to amend, just to add approval for movies in the park for April and May, the funding.
And to add that, and hers is effective 4/16, which is tomorrow, promoting her. I didn't, it's so funny, Fontaine is always something you just said Fontaine.
Yeah.
I didn't know she had a first name. But anyway, and then we would remove number 6 under general business. So we will add them. I'm sure Melissa will bump me and say you forgot something here in a few minutes. But anyway, a motion to approve the agenda with those changes. Is there a second? All in favor? Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5?
Just discussion,
Second.
just,
Yeah, go ahead.
this is the quarterly thing for our aging report. So just to let you know, what was in March for utilities?
They had 30 days to reply, to respond to that letter,
30 days would be,
like the 25th of this month.
We haven't had anybody come in or make it, or. Well, the good news is we're down like $7,000 from the last, if you look at we're down from 612,000 to 605,000.
Some of that depends on when I run it, if it's been cut off day or not.
Okay, well, I'll give us a benefit of the doubt. We actually had some people coming. So
let us have a moment.
thanks for busting that bubble.
We did have a citizen come in and pay $10,000,
Well, that might have been part of the reduction. So, I mean,
but that was before.
well, I'm just saying that the age reports that you send us basically every 3 or 4 months, there was a difference of almost $7,800. So that's somewhat, that's at least a downward pressure. So that's good that you and the princess and y'all, whatever y'all are doing over there. So I appreciate the work,
All right,
but there's still a lot out there.
Thank you. Got a motion, got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All righty, public comment. Miss Cammy, come on up here.
All right, so I printed everybody a list of our events because there's a lot going on and I want to make sure everybody had the tangible copy. Okay, so this Thursday, we're having our second morning coffee meetup. I thought those were great. Last time, 7 o'clock at Grand Central Coffee Bar. I announced this in our membership luncheon and we had several businesses to say, hey, I'd like to, host that. So we're going to have some new faces at the morning coffee meetups in the future. So excited about that. Pedal Springs Senior Resource and Health Fair, May 6th, 91 Pedal Civic Center. I'll tell you, it is shaping up very, very nicely. Some great vendors and good sponsors. So super excited about that. I am going to be out and about tomorrow just blasting those flyers. So if you guys would like some, please let me know. Again, this is to our seniors. It's really to everybody. I think I could use some resources myself. Yeah, 91, May 6th. And then we're having a ribbon cutting for D.R. Horton, and that's going to be in the Castlewood subdivision, May 8th at 4 o'clock. And then we have May 14th, but our membership luncheon with Dr. Ben Burnett with William Carey University. So excited about that because he's coming to let us know about buying those 103 acres and developing their footprint even further. And it's going to be amazing. So he made mention to me when I visited with him that most of our federal schools administration is graduate from William Carey University. So I have invited those alumni to come see him speak. So he's excited about that. And so is Dr. Matt Dillon. Okay, and then last but not least, the City of Petal inauguration. Did I say that correctly, Mayor? Is it City of Petal? Okay. So June 30th, 6 p.m., Petal Civic Center. So excited about that. I have asked Miss Ada and their church and their mass choir to sing. Super excited about that. We're gonna have some more events than normal because we don't have it, but just once every 4 years. So we're gonna have some fun events at that event. So if you guys have any ideas or would like to share something that you'd like to have, let me know. I'm happy to add it to the agenda and we'll rock and roll. But that's it. Any questions?
Awesome. Appreciate all the good stuff.
Thank you.
Mr. Ron, I think we're actually going to handle you here in a minute. I guess at the bottom, but you want to go ahead and talk.
That wasn't a threat.
I didn't look down far enough on the agenda to see if I was in print, so I just put my name on those.
And I guess the question is, do you want to stay to the end of the meeting?
Oh, no.
Or do you come on up and talk now? You leave and then we can vote at the end of the meeting.
Gotcha. Okay, so anyway, I did want to come in. I talked to Mayor Ducker this morning and trying to put together this movie in the park event. We did a bunch of them in 15, 16, and possibly 17. My memory betrays me. In 17, we had a tornado. And life was kind of upended, so that kind of got pushed to the side and didn't have the money or the time to mess with it. So I've had a lot of people come to me and ask me to do it again, but I didn't want to commit to it because of the extreme amount of time and cost. So last month I requested that the city partially fund that. And so we got that approval for 2 showings in April. And because of time constraints and things that have come up, April 26th, we're going to have one. We'd like to do the other one on May 10th, possibly, unless I find out there's some other massive thing that interferes with it. If not May 10th, it might be the 24th. But right now, tentatively the 10th. So we've got Moana 2 is what's going to happen on the 26th. And the next one will be Inside Out 2, which was voted on by the Petal Neighborhood page. We got a lot of engagement from that. Once we get approval from the licensing company, ostensibly today sometime, we'll start the marketing because we can't legally begin marketing until they approve the licensing. So kind of short notice on this one, but I also like the idea of the next one being a couple weeks out so we can do some after action review and lessons learned and try to figure out, best practices moving forward. So we're planning to not just have a movie, we're going to have inflatables from my inflatable company out there. We'll do armbands for that. We'll have vendors. I've talked to Chick-fil-A and McAllister's. They'll have some low price options out there. And we'll have a snow cone vendor out there as well. So it's a small town event, but it's hopefully something that will gain some traction. And I know that a lot of the citizenry over the years have enjoyed it a lot. And so I'd like to hopefully get some steam behind it again. So again, wanted to give you guys an update on that, but also ask about doing the funding in May. And when I got here, Drew had mentioned that we're going to have to put it on the agenda to be approved for May because we had only asked for April. And so the technicality on that, I'll let you guys hash that out. But I did want to come regardless and give you guys an update on, what we're doing to try to put that event on, make it a good one. So it's a 32-foot screen. So it's huge. If you haven't been to it, it's the biggest one in Mississippi that I know of. So anyway, if you guys have any questions for me,
Anything, gang?
I'm still working on that house.
Appreciate that. Look forward to this coming to life. We'll vote on that at the end of the month. And I think the only thing we're doing is really adding.
Ron, your guys at our church, Saturday were extremely professional. They did
Thank
their
you.
job. They were in and out.
Yeah,
They're always good and they're always polite. Thank you.
I was
very
gonna
much.
say, they got some really good people, and they'll be here for the movie in the park too, helping set up and all that other stuff. We got good people. So
Yes, you do.
Thank y'all. If y'all want to, we can actually go ahead and handle that now and make a motion, just to add May, I guess is all we're doing. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good deal. There you go. Now you're good. You can stay if you want to.
that's okay.
You can watch the rest of the video. Turn it on the way out.
Awesome. Hey, Mr. Mitri, come on up here. How you doing this evening?
I'm all right. How are you guys?
What's up?
I'm here to complain about,
Old Smith Street.
well, they're not on Smith Street. They're on West Fourth, north of Smith.
What they-
I'm on Smith Street.
Ah, okay.
Yes. Now, I got a dog. My dog stays tied up or on the leash.
Mhm.
Now, I come around 306, I think is the house that I had trouble with yesterday.
306 Fifth, East Fifth,
West Fourth.
West Fourth. I'm
West
sorry, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There we go. So we go.
Right. But I'm walking. First, I didn't see the dogs. And then when I got closer, I noticed the dogs. And I noticed one coming towards me. There was a guy in the yard. I'm at the back of a tailgate. I told him nicely and calmly, get your dog. And then he started calling the dog. Now he had to call the dog several times before the dog would come back to him. Then, while he's calling his first dog, a second dog comes up. And the female on the porch starts ranting and raving. Now I'm out in the street with my dog on his leash. Why is she fussing? I have had trouble with these people at this house quite often. I've called out several times and I just stopped calling because it doesn't seem like anything's happening. Because it's steadily happening that these dogs are in their yard. And then when I'm coming through, they're coming to the road.
They don't have, they got a little small fence over there? Or?
There is no fence.
Dude,
No fence. And I've never seen them tied up. And I have been walking by sometimes and she'll just open the door, let the dogs out and shut the door.
I'm not sure. I'll check tomorrow, but I think our animal control tried to make contact. I don't know if they
She went
did.
out there this morning. She called me when she was getting
Yeah.
ready to go, just to confirm where she was going. She did call me.
Yeah,
And she told me she was gonna call me back,
Obviously,
and she did.
we've got a, obviously got a leash law, so obviously that's not acceptable. And I don't ever mind if a dog's gonna come up and lick on me, but at the same time, if a dog will be aggressive and I've got my dog with me, you know, the parameters kind of change. But anyway, I appreciate you letting me know about this. I'll look into this tomorrow and see if we can find a little more information and make sure that this is getting taken care of and getting addressed. If you see them out, call the PD and let us know, especially during the week. We've got animal control here Monday through Friday.
Yeah, she
So,
told me she was
if
until
there's something
4.
aggressive happening, it's a 24/7. But if it's just a situation like this, feel free to call them because we've had this happen a bunch. You get a call the next day, well, no, the dog's not out now. So here we go.
Well, of
But
course,
it
but-
is an issue. And a lot of times we don't have a place to take the dog. But if they're aggressive,
Well, I've heard that too.
if we got they're aggressive, that's a little different dog than, Snoopy making his way around. So anyway, I appreciate you reaching out to us.
Well, and I know, that it is because my dog, and the girl even made the statement, excuse my language, this bitch is the only one that my dogs come at. And,
Yeah, you say you're doing it the right way. So
right.
we got rules on you. We can have it on everybody. So I appreciate you coming out tonight.
Oh, and another thing, I did call Sunday about some Rottweilers over there behind Harris Station Studio, but I think that puppy had just gotten out of his cage because they're usually in the cage.
And we do have that. on occasion, but there does unfortunately seems like there are some people, and we've written tickets in these instances too. And some of them just come and pay them and lock on. And it's like you could have fixed your fence for the amount you're paying us in fees. So, but anyway, we'll continue. But anyway, I appreciate you giving us, giving us a heads up on this.
All right.
And so come on up here.
All right, we might be just bundle it all in one.
In one deal.
Yeah.
Cats and dogs.
That's right.
This is
And
dogs and cats. Go ahead.
yes, sir. And it's just,
Where,
when I moved here,
where do you live? So,
I'm her neighbor.
oh, okay.
And she walks her dog every day. I walk mine every now and then, but it's nothing about a dog being arrested, a cat being arrested. I don't want them walking all over my cars. These
Yeah.
cats are. It's like somebody took a sack and just let them loose. It wasn't like that when I moved here in 2005. So, and I said, oh my goodness, I ain't got to be bothered with all these unwanted, I don't want to hurt no animal.
What was the number on both y'all's houses?
Mine is 104.
104, 104,
Yes.
108. Okay.
And it's just, they just loose, and my dog actually, when I'm walking my dog, she's on the leash. She is a normal dog. She don't like cats.
Yeah.
So when when she see the loose cats,
Here we go.
there I go struggling. And I got more of a problem with them on my property. That's I don't want the cats there.
I will get this address over to them because we actually do have a program, trap, neuter, and return program
Yeah,
where we start trying to play the long game with them and get them neutered.
yeah. If
And
they
don't
want
get me
their
wrong,
cats, they
we
can
could
get their
we could
cats.
get buy-in from, here it's a statewide problem. We could get buy-in with the state to have all these unwanted animals just spayed and neutered. Boy, that'd go a long
It
way.
would. And like I say, I'm not a complainer. I don't want to see any animal hurt.
Yeah.
That period. But I don't want
Are you complaining about the number of cats?
it. Actually, yes. They are. My alarm will go off at night, and it's a cat going out behind my house. There's another one running out. And you can't say, well, it's that cat, and not look, because it might be a big, two-legged cat. So I gotta look. So that's a problem. I just like for y'all to,
I'll get this to the right place.
yeah.
Good deal. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. We have no proclamations or resolutions, no bids or quotes, no old business, under general business, skipping number 6. Go down to number 7, request to appoint Mayor Tony Ducker as commissioner to the PBRSWMA for a term to expire on April 21st, 2029. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
You better tell people what that means.
Just to say that. They did not design that to put it on a hat, obviously. But that's the landfill. So obviously, we're a member of the landfill, so it is, I guess it'd be kind of like we're stockholders in it, so to speak. So we have a say in how that does. Plus, we're members, so we have to dump our household residential stuff there. So anyway, good stuff. But number 8, and we've got a fantastic Tony Harrison does a great job running that out there. Very fortunate to have him. Alrighty, number 8, the request to refund cash bond in the amount of $1,000 for Kay Clark.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 9, request to pay estimate in the amount of $328,395.79 to Walters Construction for 2024 paving. This is not final payment. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 10, request to set hearing of May 13th, 2025 at 6 p.m. for the following properties: 205 Maryland Drive and 15 Rainy Drive. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 12, request to dispose of the following in the building department: Dell CPU asset number 02730 and miscellaneous electronic items. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any idea what the miscellaneous?
I gave Melissa a list.
There's a list.
Some part time.
And you skipped the police.
Yeah, we skip one.
They have to keep their stuff.
Oh, did I scratched it off
They have
beforehand?
to fix their.
I just keep them straight. Did you see that, Chief?
I did.
Okay.
I knew Melissa was straighten me out.
I offered to let her sit here. Anyway, we've got a motion, got a second on number 12. All in favor? Okay, number 11, request to dispose of one Dell monitor in the police department. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comment? Questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Number 13, request to pay estimate number 3 in the amount of $494,184.30 to Grady Crawford Construction for Castlewood sewer improvements per SPW.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is our 5th and final ARPA/NCWI project. Well ahead of, we should be well ahead of deadline, which was the end of this year.
I'm so glad that was our.
Number 14, seminars and travel. Number 14, request for municipal officials to attend the 94th Annual MML Convention in Biloxi, Mississippi, July 20th through July 24th, 2025. Total cost not to exceed $14.86 plus mileage each. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 15, request for Rocky Eaton to attend 94th Annual MML Convention and MMA Annual Convention
He has two.
in Biloxi, Mississippi on July 20th through July 24th. Total cost $16.22 plus mileage. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 16, request for Michelle Strebeck to attend MMCA Summer Conference in Biloxi, Mississippi on June 23rd and 24th, 2025. Total cost $589.98 plus mileage.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 17, request for the following to attend training in the fire department per Chief Sims. J. Wiley Rope Rescue in June, $310. A. Richardson Rope Rescue in June, cost $310. A. Townsend Basic 1001 that's April 4th through June 5th, cost $935. E. Smith Basic 1001, cost that's April 13th through June 5th, cost of $935. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 18, request for Amy Heath to attend COAA Annual Conference in Orange Beach, Alabama, May 7th and 8th, 2025. Total cost $136. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And as you'll see with a lot of those things, there are some requirements that some certifications and some of the classes that are attended at these are that you have to go. And obviously, I believe we're taking one extra this year because they had never been. That's going to allow them a little bit more about your job. In case, well, never mind.
Okay.
In orders and ordinances, number 19, request to adopt an ordinance regulating the placement of dumpsters on public roads, sidewalks, curbs, and curbs. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
For discussion.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is a response to the Williamsburg neighborhood. As I'm sure y'all know, I've brought that up many times in a public forum. I've sent you a letter that I drafted with some of the residents of that area, complaining about some of the issues that they've gone through recently. And long story short, a big developer came through, and it was very hard on the people who lived there. And I targeted this as one of the biggest and most damaging inconveniences for the residents. I actually asked several people today not to be here. I figured this is a win-win for everybody, really. This shouldn't hurt any of our local developers because they've always done a great job of making sure that these dumpsters are on their property, not damaging roads. And I'd say that Justin Powell and Mr. Fairley have both done a great job of doing that, not damaging the roads. And I don't see that this would be a hindrance to anyone who does the right thing.
Any other comments? Who do we have, builders we have here? Come along,
Well, I need to come
Black.
to the podium or can I?
Yeah, come on up, yeah. We'll get you on YouTube, come on. How you doing this evening?
Doing well, how are you guys doing?
Oh, fantastic.
So I think, overall, I think the deposit is kind of a bit excessive. You're talking $2,500. That is more than what it costs to get a building permit to build an 1,800 square foot house. I think,
If I could, that's how much it would cost to repair the damages to the road.
so your major disposal companies like MCS, All Pro, places like that, they're not gonna put it on the road. They're gonna put it on the property. And they're gonna put it so they know that the right of way, you know, if you got sidewalks, whatever the case may be, that belongs to the city. That bill, if something happens, will go to them. So they're gonna make sure that they put it on the property.
Not in my experience, no, sir.
I like it,
We would need an ordinance to make that possible.
but that's the ordinance that should be taken up with the disposal company. As the builder, I have to bite that $2,500 out of my budget, which can make or break me.
I think if you came up here and said that they shouldn't put it there, this is between you and the company, that would be a completely reasonable argument that the alderman would respond to.
Okay, but you're still wanting a $2,500 deposit for, and a permit for that dumpster, correct?
Only if it's in the road. If it's on your property, there's no,
Still think it's a bit excessive.
I think you might have been dead some bad.
Not necessarily. I think that's a bit excessive. And also, like I said, dumpster companies aren't going to place it in the road.
They have, it's been an issue.
So have they been in a residential neighborhood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I
If
think,
anyone's damaging our roads, they should pay with it.
absolutely. I think that, but I think that should be more so on the disposal company and not necessarily the builder. That would be my biggest thing. Huh?
Nothing. I was just saying, like, the title company owns the majority of that subdivision, if I'm thinking of the same place.
That may be in one instance, but you know, when you're talking smaller builders, it's gonna be a builder having to
You've
put
always
this
done
bid.
it right. Yeah, nothing.
Okay. I'll stand by. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Phil Lafferty with D.R. Horton, City Manager for Hattiesburg Pedal area. I don't have a problem with an ordinance for not putting a dumpster on the street. Have no problem with it. Run into it in multiple municipalities. I do think, along with the other gentleman, that the permit fee of $2,500 plus the $500 permit application fee is a bit excessive.
Yeah, now, mind you, that's only if you want to put it in the road.
I understand that.
If you put it on your property, there's.
Right. The ordinance actually states in the right of way, which is about 12 feet off the edge of the road. I cannot
Not
put
12 feet.
on average, from the property pins of the lot to the edge of the asphalt, it's generally about 12 feet, 15 feet. Okay. So I have no problem with not putting dumpsters on the street. We've actually taken all of our dumpsters off of the asphalt, even on the streets that the city has not adopted yet or taken over. There does come a time at the very end of the neighborhood where the, you just don't have any room for a dumpster because of housing on each side. And we would try to keep the dumpster off of the asphalt as long as possible. But I think with a $2,500 deposit plus a $500 application fee, what you might end up with is people doing away with the dumpster completely and just throwing their trash out in the yard, which may be more of an eyesore. But I can see your point, but maybe lower the deposit.
The cost is based on what it would cost to repair the roads.
I understand that.
Do not put dumpsters in the roads is really the point of the ordinance.
I understand the ordinance.
Those costs, so if we say you can put it in the road and we're gonna charge you half what it costs to fix it, that's an injustice to our residents.
Right, I understand that. I'm coming from multiple municipalities where this ordinance is in effect in other places. I've never seen anything where there is a $2,500 deposit just to make an application to have a dumpster there for 7 days.
It shouldn't be there for even a moment, because once it's dropped, that's when the damage usually happens.
Actually, it's more when it's picked up, because that's when all your weight's on there. But I understand where you're coming from. But I just want to speak my piece. That's it.
Yeah, appreciate you. Anybody else?
I just had a question to clarify. So this is only if I want to put a dumpster in the road, y'all would allow this?
That's correct. If it's on your own private property, this ordinance does not affect.
So y'all are okay with dumpsters sitting, taking up half the road? Yeah, I'm not
Money.
what's going on.
I'm trying to keep dumpsters out of the road, damaging our roads. And so this is to dissuade anybody from placing a dumpster on a road. If you do so, you either have to pay a hefty fine or you have to pay a hefty fee. Either way. The point is, there's no reason to put a dumpster on the road. Don't do it. That's the point. It's common sense. And most of our locals have exercised that common sense and demonstrated that really this isn't for them. So if you've been doing it the right way, this
So
is
there's
not
no
a fee.
permit fee to get a dumpster?
No, on the property, there's no fee. If you want to put it in the road, there's a fee. You can tear up your own driveway all day.
Hey, if somebody puts it in the road right now, you've got authority to tell them to remove that. And then the police department can get involved as well, because obviously I can't leave my truck in one lane of Woodland Square, for instance, right?
You can't impede traffic, that's right.
Per se.
But you can park on the side of the road, and this has been brought up. I mean, I've gone the route of the executive, and it didn't work.
Oh, they what now?
I'll be honest.
Oh.
I've tried to get help.
Over there with this?
Yes.
I'm not aware of any time that I've gotten an address for a dumpster that was causing a problem that we wouldn't have acted on. I don't know. Give me addresses. I'll go after the meeting and tell them to move their stuff. Amy's got authority. You don't move stuff and do what Amy needs you to do. By our code, you still got to get power. You finally got to get your certificate of occupancy. So that's not really an issue.
The board should be aware of the situation in the Williamsburg neighborhood. I brought it up publicly.
You showed me a picture one time that they said the road needed paved and they're tearing it up and I think it looked pretty good. Other than one section, and I'm sure that was from when the developer didn't put in a good thick coat of pavement.
You do know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, you said before, from your picture, I've been in that neighborhood.
Okay, and that's the situation I'd like to avoid in the future.
I would just assume we would tell Amy that at 101, whatever street, there's a dumpster in the road, they need to get it out of there. And then if we found that there was a deal, I just don't think this is an issue. I think we've got authority to get them to move right now. I think we already have a reputation as permit and fee city. And I think this would further that reputation.
Just to be clear, every time Annie has ever contacted me to make a correction or a change in our operation, we've done so without hesitation.
Yes.
Well,
they have.
in this case, it went on for months of complaints.
I don't
Me
recall
coming
any,
up to this.
I don't recall anything. I knew we had some drainage issues that we needed you guys to address.
Asking for help.
They did address stormwater and silt fence.
I thought that's the only thing I can remember.
I've never asked them.
Not, there's a dumpster in the road.
I believe.
I need it gone.
And so I was also told that it was allowed.
I don't know that we would ever
It is-
say
it is.
that is there a dumpster? I can go park my car on
It
101
you can-
Woodland
you
Square?
can Actually, it is legal.
What about 3 Mile? Can I do that on 3 Mile? Would you have a problem with me parking my truck on 3 Mile tonight? Oh, God, home, I need to get in shape.
Well, that's kind of a different situation than parking.
You're impeding traffic. Every road is made for traffic. What about Sweet
So
Meadows?
the
That's a
difference
problem
would
there.
be that in the Williamsburg district, you you can park something on the side of the road, it's not impede traffic.
I have to go around it.
Definitely.
Is there any dumpsters in Williamsburg around?
Yeah.
Does any alderman know of any dumpster anywhere in the city in the road? Because I think that a lot of times they'll be in the corner of the road. When you get them out of, everybody's not paying attention, they could hit it. We don't want that. So,
All these developers in here, did someone call you guys? Cause y'all got some bad information.
you were actually on WDAM with this story, and we put a 60-day wait on this conveniently after the election,
I hope you.
is what we did. Isn't that weird? Why did we do that? Why not a 30-day review? Wouldn't that have been more code? He's got a TV at his house, WDAM. It was on WDAM. Hey, when's this meeting taking place? We put the, Drew does a fantastic job and takes bullets for it too, which I don't agree with, by the way. Proposed to get on the neighborhood page.
Well, I didn't.
This is an open meeting to the public. They can come in here anytime we meet.
Yes. I didn't realize there was gonna be any opposition to this. I'm actually quite surprised. I would have appreciated if the opposition was done before legal review. And it's had a 90-day review.
56.
Pardon me.
Yeah, and on that legal review, there are a couple of words. I don't really have any comment on this legally. It could be done, whether it should be done is up to the board. As far as the proposed ordinance, there were just two words that I would remove. And one was on the first page. It was under the purpose and intent, and it said that near the end of this paragraph, it said, and to regulate exceptions through a permitting process with significant financial disincentives. So my recommendation would be to remove the word significant. And then, let's see, in section 4, permit exceptions and fees, it says a permit may be issued for temporary placement of a dumpster in a public right of way under extreme circumstances where no reasonable alternative exists. I would strike the word extreme. And so those are the two edits that I had to the language. Any other comment I had was really to whether this, the propriety of passing this or not. And that's really up to you guys.
Well, right now, the way the city stands is a dumpster can be placed on the road. And it could be ordered off of the road. And there's no crime, no foul there, except the road is damaged at that point.
I would think we would have some recourse if somebody damages our road, although there's some flex in that, because technically a roofer could do that when they're getting a new roof and they bring these heavy equipment in there.
It's not what's
in theory. I mean, we could get into the minutia of all this, though. I don't want to have to charge them $3,000 to put it in when, I mean, it's just killing trees, it looks like to me.
The dumpsters killing trees?
No, the ordinance, we're creating paper.
Well, like I said, I had a lot of people who wanted to come and speak on this in the Williamsburg neighborhood, and I asked them not to. And I basically told them I don't think it would help, and I thought that this was a no-brainer. I didn't think there was any opposition. I didn't find out about opposition until hours before this meeting. And I wish somebody would have called me or something. I definitely could have had this room full of people to tell you their experiences with this and how inconvenient it was for them. And I would still have the opportunity to maybe do that. Kind of blindsided at this, honestly. You guys know who got you here.
Yeah, I'll invite them. Y'all, what are y'all doing in May? When's our meeting in May? Y'all were invited to that meeting too. We'd love to see y'all.
Gerald, I'll move to amend it to, or I'll amend my motion to, was it set aside or table it till the next meeting if that's what you want. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, they give me a chance to get some people in here. I mean,
Awesome. We're gonna work on the big issues of the day. I love it.
I hope y'all are tracking.
Well, and just, and Mayor, I do say I think there's some validness to the concept. And there might be some opposition to this, but this did damage one of the streets in my ward prior to paving.
Oh, it's not just mine.
So that it wasn't a builder. It was actually a tree removal service. Kind of like like I said, there's other people who use dumpsters out there. And like I said, it happened when they picked it up, because of course it's pretty light when it goes down. Fortunately, we paved over it because, you know, we were paving. But again, it would have been very detrimental. And to my knowledge, I didn't have a way to recourse to charge them, or, you know, I don't know what we do. It was, we had a sign get knocked over. We didn't charge somebody for a sign. So I don't know how we charge for city damage.
But we have,
Do we have city damage?
no, we have sought after on that side.
We do, yeah. But I was saying, if someone damaged city property, there should be some
Yeah.
recourse. And I guess that's, Mayor, that's what you, if we have a way to do that, might be a better way to do it. I don't know
I
if we
think you
do.
won't know who they are. A lot of them folks won't even know what about this ordinance if it was to go into effect.
Well, that's part of the, you know, part of the knowledge. And a lot of, when I did some research just this afternoon, I did see some, this commonplace I have, and so you can agree to this. There's dumpster policies are pretty standard across the country
Sure.
to protect city infrastructure. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's places that I've built personally that let you put them on the streets with no issues. If it becomes a nuisance, then they ask us to move them, no problem.
Yeah.
Then there's places that won't let us put them on the street at all, and again, it's no problem. My only thing is, in the places that don't allow it on the street, if there is some instance where something has to be done, we have no alternative but to put it in front of the street. They let us do it at no charge. It's not a $3,000 application fee and deposit to do that. Because generally it's there for, 48 hours at the most usually.
To that, I would say, if you could come to this board and say, there's no other way, a variance would be great.
Well, we should have to do a variance to an ordinance like this. So that's my only concern. But there needs to be some recourse, because people will damage city infrastructure. And we just poured $3 million in paving across our city. And we have some very good builders here that do the right things. I mean, but sometimes people are absent-minded. They don't put the pads down. Majority of the times when people put roll-off off, they put the boards down. A lot of them do, right? So, I mean, but when they don't, and they pick them up, they drive away, and we have a gash or we have a issue on the road, what's the recourse? Is the rest of the city supposed to just suck up the cost? I mean, that's I guess that's the concern here. That's to me, that's the $3 million investment we just did in our recent paving things. That's what I want to protect. So, if there's a way we can scratch that itch without doing this, or have this, but the $500 application fee is pretty extensive. I mean, to me, you should punish them if they mess up, not just for the privilege of doing it. Because majority of times, I mean, fairly, and just you guys don't put them on the streets when you don't have to.
So most of the residential builders aren't gonna do it.
Now, there was a case on Maple Drive where there was no place, Cedric could not put his on, he could not put his on his 2 building parcels, because just, it's too muddy, too much, it's working through that. There's no place for him to do that. So
I think he had it for a day.
yeah, so
I'm the GC on that part.
yeah. So we were able to work around that, but my only concern, Gerald, if we want to this is, the application fee, I think is punitive and not supportive. There should be something that holds them accountable if they mess up, and that's kind of deposit. I think that's fair. And whatever that costs to repair a standard damage to an asphalt road, I mean, $2,500. That's I haven't done the final research on that, but that's my support of this concept is that we put too much into our infrastructure to have people who are not, like I said, you got to have subs come in, and sometimes things happen. And we try to work through those, but if there's something deliberate or something doesn't happen, there needs to be accountability, because other taxpayers should not do that. And
So who would be the determining factor on if the hole is this big or it's as big as this room? If it's as big as this room, or whatever a standard dumpster size is, $2,500 is not gonna take care of that. Is that $2,500, like what is the factor in that? How big, how small, what requires damage?
Hold up to that point, because I'd like to add something into this that could address that. Speaking with Rocky real fast, I asked if instead of saying a $2,500 deposit at the front end, a damage deposit, we could just put in a clause that says that we would hold the person who installed the dumpster responsible for any damages done to the road, making it to where not necessarily a cap or anything like that. It's just we would have a bill for the amount of money that was the amount of money that it took to repair the damage done to the road.
That's a logical step. My fear of that is that it's allowing people to damage the roads still.
So what?
Still allowing damage to the roads.
Yeah, but I think that's a good compromise, because like I said, I mean, if you scratch it, and that's a good point, if you, most of those rollers have the roller balls on, right? And so you're gonna get it, unless you drag the back up, and if they tilt it all the way and pull it up, which I've rarely ever seen that, never seen it here. But if you get roller dents, it's gonna be, maybe, well, it could be the length of the roll off. So that could be, but again, that's not gonna take, should not take $2,500 to hot patch it, whereas, but again, I would be more likely to fully support if we pay, have them pay for what they damage. I mean, that's protecting our infrastructure versus saying, hey, if I have $500 for a permit, which, I mean, that's.
The idea is to keep the dumpsters off the road. You have to be foolish to put a dumpster on the road. It's gonna damage it.
Yeah, and they
The
rarely.
idea is to keep that from happening.
I agree.
What you're proposing though is let them put it there and then we'll figure out how much they owe us. We'll assess the
Well, right now we have nothing, to my knowledge, and that's.
But we can still sue, we can still go after anybody that causes damage to the city, just like we have before, right? We can do that. We've sent them letters and we have hired special counsel in the past to sue people. So yeah, we can sue people. So we do have a recourse.
Yeah, that is.
And I just don't know to what, I mean, how often have we been faced? Because nobody's ever come to me as city attorney and said, we've got damage on the
Small
roads. Yeah, and we need to pursue somebody. And we did it with the stop
I
sign.
did it one time, Tom was here, remember when after one of the tornadoes, the people were putting their clampers down, they put X's all up that, obviously right after we.
That's what we paid.
Right.
And what?
So you're saying we should go that route instead?
Small.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we do have recourse and that is one option.
So,
But I mean,
I
one
can
thing,
address that though.
but
And
one
that's
thing
the
is,
route. I have a list.
okay.
I don't want to.
But I mean, it's possible to do what you guys are saying. It's also to do a combination. You don't even have to do an ordinance to go after folks, or you could do this ordinance and not have a $2,500 deposit. You could have something less or no deposit or some deposit. And then with the clause that you're going to be responsible for all damages that you cause. So you don't necessarily have to financially handicap somebody to try to get this work done.
And I think, Tony, like I said, we don't want to be heavy-handed to even want to come build something over here, but we want to be transparent and accountable. I'm sorry.
If I you
No. Okay.
use the term
No, I see what you're saying.
financially handicap somebody. That's not the purpose of the ordinance. The purpose of the ordinance is to keep the dumpsters off of the road.
But Gerald, I think where you're underestimating the strength of this ordinance actually is the fact that we can say no to a permit. Like if somebody comes to us for a permit, even if we make it like $100, just throwing that out there, and we get rid of the front end damage deposit and instead move that to the back end and say any damage has occurred, and we do it that way, the strength of the ordinance that you're trying to do actually would be for them coming and saying like, hey, I want to put a dumpster here, and like us looking at the situation and saying no. And then it would fall back under the same rubric that we have now.
To be clear, what would actually do is the planning department would enforce the ordinance as they're supposed to. And if somebody wanted a variance, then they would come and talk to us and say, hey, there's no way around this. I got to do this. Can you help me? And we would most likely help them.
Yeah, but we do meetings twice a month. I hate to be, are they gonna come here? I mean, we're not gonna do, I would not think we do an emergency meeting. So I think, like I said, the beauty of what Blake just said was that, you have a process. Right now, we have no process. And I can understand where you don't want to be process heavy, permit heavy, but a permit, kind of like how we just did for boring, we did a boring permit because we were having problems with not knowing where things were. A permit for this process would let us know, and like I said, like we deconflicted on Maple Drive, we let the police know, hey, there's going to be one-way traffic. The school, now some of the neighbors didn't know that, but the school district knew that, hey, there's going to be one-way traffic. So that's the beauty of having a permit, and like to make it nominal, whatever, because it's more about sharing the information across our different departments here. So, and you could legitimately say, you know what? No, you can't put a roll-on off of Old Corinth Road. because that's just not feasible. You know, because there are houses there that are building, but now, you know, that's, you still give the authority and the executive branch would handle that. You know, make it a $50, $100 permit, and then if they damage it, make it, you know, responsible for, you know, like we've done that for, I think we've done it for some other ordinances for where they're responsible for the fees.
Well, that's pretty much what we've done with like Centerpoint or whatever they are now, when they have to come in and dig up for fixing gas lines and things like that. I mean, they're required to obtain a permit. But that's really for us, for that to be on our radar, to understand where they are, when they are there, and then they are required to fix what they've done. Now, we do have recourse on there to charge that expense back if they don't, but it's not a front end heavy, you got to do this our way or else you can't do anything. I mean, it's really more to, but it still allows us the ability, if things aren't done properly, if they're not done at all, to go back and on the back end.
The difference between those two situations is we want them for it. We know they're going to, and we encourage them to.
I don't want them to dig up Cold Street for the third time.
And then my yard saying.
Really, it's done
something,
but still.
I'm not trying to make this on our radar or permit so that we know what's going on. I don't want dumpsters in the road.
Well, I understand that, but at the same time, you're saying, well, if you go by this permit, then you can have a dumpster in the road.
Well, if you're gonna spend $2,500 to put it there, I mean, sure.
But do you want them or not want them?
Well, if they're spending the $2,500, it's not an issue anymore.
I'd rather just say not have them at all. I'm afraid one of you guys are gonna be in Destin one weekend and tell somebody to deliver a dumpster and tell them where to deliver it, but the guy ain't gonna get the message, he's gonna deliver it in the road, and then you're gonna get zapped.
That's ridiculous.
You know?
Do you guys know that this doesn't affect y'all? I think y'all feel too bad. You guys know this won't affect you.
I mean,
Y'all
it
have no
could,
sense to put it on
it
your own
could,
property.
as we get in the building.
So what you're saying is you're targeting.
Who does it affect?
No, anyone who puts it in the road. That's all. So anybody. It could be me, you know, I mean, I rent dumpsters too. I make sure they're on my property so that, you know, I don't damage the road. That we have had a lot of people slam them straight in the road, drag them around, push them around, tear up the roads. It's ridiculous. I want to make sure that they understand there's a fine for that. Don't do that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I got plenty of people in this room who've been doing it the right way. And I don't know why y'all here. This isn't going to affect y'all at all.
See, I'll once again kind of fall into the middle of this thing. Like I understand the reason why you want this, and if it hasn't become an issue, then I understand giving the city some teeth in some area. At the same time, I very, very, very much agree with something that the mayor said a while ago, and that Petal is seen as a fee-heavy, punitive, like file out bigger forms.
Get outside your box every now and then and go to other cities. People are talking about the city, about how heavy our fees are. Get outside your box, get outside the city and live with it. I hear it all the time, Gerald.
So would you be more willing to?
I don't want the fee at all.
Okay,
If they damage the road, we go and we charge them.
Okay, so if I bring up this list of damaged roads, you're gonna support me in going after them?
You're gonna have to prove that somebody did it,
I
Gerald.
have
You
video,
should have done
I
it at the time.
And I've showed these to you.
There's a reason we weren't believing you, Gerald.
Wow.
I don't know what the reason would be. If it was damaged and you brought it to us, we should have done something about it. I can't go back and do it now.
Do you guys not remember me bringing this up to you?
No, once.
Once.
I hear it all the time. I hear it from contractors outside the city because I get outside the box.
You're trying to tell me.
I'm telling you that we're fee heavy already and they don't come here because of that. Am I right, Justin?
I mean, I would say just come up with some process that if you have to put it in the road, you need to come to City Hall, fill out some type of form, and then that way you got a track.
So my original ordinance was, it's against the law to put it in the road, period. And you would have to come to this board to get permission.
Which means you have to come every 2 weeks.
Yeah, sometimes that's not gonna work. That's on the process.
Right. Because the average person, if it's gonna take 2 weeks, they're gonna put it there, get their stuff up and get out. And then you don't know if they came or not.
Which is why I
That's
reverted
fine.
to the ordinance that I introduced,
They're in for a day, gone, you don't even know who it was.
Right.
or 6 months straight.
Already got a
I don't think we're ready for prime time for this. I mean, we have 60 days, so this, we're at the 60-day,
Or 56.
56. We're supposed to do 60-day review on this.
Y'all call me so I can figure out who filled your head with this crap. I want to talk to you guys. Give me a call.
But as is, I'm not really, I like the, I think we have a plan, because then what we're not doing is, we do have an issue. Like I've seen in my neighborhoods. And it's not just builders, like I say, but how do we let, like, yeah. But it's an education thing, because once we do this, we have to educate people.
You're being fed garbage.
I mean, honestly, I guess that accusation's to me. I haven't spent all day talking. I haven't actually talked to any of you guys. In fact, I just met you today at the podium.
Tell me I'm not talking about you.
No, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean,
I just saw the story on the news, and it was in the ward that I'm building in, so I just felt like
And by the way, he's building in my ward next, and it'll be fine.
and I, when I just want to make sure that I'm aware of what's going on, have input.
And we do want to protect our stuff. And I know we get a lot of accolades about the growth, but we're really only growing, 40 houses a year. It's a perfect speed for us with the infrastructure that we got, especially when you guys were really fixing to ramp that number up. We had a little heartburn, I'll be honest. So we do want to protect the stuff we put out there. Obviously, we're putting a lot more stuff out there that's been multiple decades that we just didn't have the resources to do, from paving, the sewer. Hopefully we'll hear more about water when it's all said and
Drew,
done.
would you consider withdrawing your motion?
We did have the original motion.
I'd like to table this for next time so that I can get my constituents in here that I represent. Because that's really what this comes down to, is representing the people who live here. And this is something that has been asked for. I just went through an election, and that entire neighborhood wants something done to make sure this doesn't happen again.
I want to make it clear, we want to pause for 3 weeks so you can bring people in here to put pressure on the board to vote the way you want them to vote.
Well, we
Okay,
want
just want to make sure I'm hearing the delay, the tabling
I'm
right.
trying to represent.
Is that the representative for the neighborhood right
Putting
there?
pressure on your colleagues to
That
vote the
you?
way you want to vote.
Are you the representative for the neighborhood he's talking about?
What are you talking about?
I'm representing the builder that built the houses in that area.
Yeah, y'all call builders in here. I want to call people who live here.
I'll withdraw my motion, but partly the motion as is not satisfactory with the numbers in it. I mean, my recommendation is, you're going to bring it back. It needs to be incorporate some of the discussion we've had, and that might have been better to have this in a work session to discuss this, this details. But
I don't know. I think people need to see this. It's quite ridiculous.
I say if you bring the same thing back, it's
Y'all
not going to make a
act the
difference.
way I want y'all to act, or. Okay, go ahead, and I'm sorry.
I'll withdraw my motion. I'm fine with that. But you have to change this.
I would like to make a motion to table this for our next
I
meeting.
think you would change the motion.
I would say you
or-
actually-
All right.
Oh, yeah, you can do it.
All right, I got a
new motion.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gerald, I'm sorry.
I'd like to table this for our next meeting, and we can make some changes to the ordinance, and I would like the people to be able to talk to you about what this was like for them in their neighborhood, and why I'm talking about this. This has never affected me personally, or my neighborhood personally. This is me being a good alderman.
Go ahead, but, so you want to delay it to the next meeting? Which is, here, hold on. I'm sorry, I got you, May 6th. To the May 6th meeting.
Yes, May 6th.
May 6th meeting, that's the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed?
Gerald, can we forward some of our additional thoughts on some of the data points? Because
Absolutely. You all have my phone number. I will come to you any day, almost any time besides pick up at schools.
Already got number 19 done. Number 20, request to adopt an order hiring Wade Discombs full-time as a recruit firefighter at a rate of $12, so 12.0027 per hour effective April 17th.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 21, adopt an order promoting Michelle Fontaine to sergeant effective 4/16/2025. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion and second, all in favor? All right, and the mayor's report, I did want to talk about something that we had clamped down on recently. Where, it was that, we clamped down on feather banners. Those are back on 3 Mile, by the way.
I was gonna say.
We're down, now they're back up.
And again.
But anyway, in talking with Alderman Lott and Alderman Brooks, and there may be the thought that we might would have had some flex in that, where they would have a period of time each year. Now, don't get me wrong, most of the ones who have them up want them out 24/7, and they get raggedy and et cetera, et cetera. So just wanted to kind of put that out there. I know this is.
Can I add to that? I
Yeah.
did introduce an ordinance months ago on that very topic. If y'all are really serious about doing something about it, do return to that. I still think it's out.
Just to let y'all know, the ordinance right now is for zero, that type of signage, feather benders is 0, 365.
I believe I wanted churches and industrials.
That's right, that's right. So I think we have furthered that thought. I know Mike had said something about probably adding a period of time, like for, somebody that does a spring sale or something like
A
that.
grand opening.
Yeah.
Or special occasion, maybe.
Yeah, grand openings.
And if it's a regular business, it's been in business for a while, if they're having a special event, allow it for, a week, but don't allow it for 28 weeks.
Yeah. And honestly, this wasn't near the problem. It was in the last 6 months, but boy, when they popped up, they popped up. We went feather banner, heavy.
I think the one on 3 Mile is about grand opening. I got somebody's reopening that garage.
Yeah. That, and there's a church over here that has a back row that it's.
The storage facility, put them back up across from, next to Asbury.
Did they? Oh, they did. You're right.
The storage facility out by Asbury.
I guess, Mayor, the question is, are we still sending Randy out with this death hatchet to knock him down? Because we were saying we're gonna talk about it, but
They've been very effective.
yeah, because we've turned off some people who put them up the next day they took them down because they just bought them. So we either have to be very consistent, and that's my issue with the ordinances. We have to consistently enforce them or we don't enforce them.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair across the board. And so if we're gonna say we're gonna relook at something like that, we need to say, hey, they're still illegal until we set a date when we're gonna revisit this. First, and I appreciate you bringing this up because it is frustrating because I know they are effective tools, especially when you. And let's be honest, a lot of times, the BBS is coming up, and BBS has a lot of those flags.
Just called me that she wants to do her grand opening at, the grand openings, like when she has open houses and possibly do them for the weekend and then take them down and then put them back.
The ordinance currently says that they're allowed to do temporary events. I believe what Tony's saying is that that's a little open-ended, and they want a specific time frame. So I think your friends are fine.
Yeah, they would do like 3 weeks. Or I think that's what Mike was saying.
No, there's actually no temporary flags. There's a very specific ordinance section on temporary, and it's and feather flags are not even part of the temporary. Any feather flags is illegal anytime,
And I
24/7.
know you guys know roofers. They've apparently went to a conference and what they have been told to put the little campaign type signs everywhere they can put them. I saw one of them up Highway 49 the other day. It was one that you see all over town, so.
Yeah.
So put them in the right of way is what apparently they told.
But I guess I don't think maybe this great
Yeah, not do anything.
report.
Out there.
Because right now they're completely illegal, and Randy's still going out with his hatchet, telling people to. Because what I really would be, yes,
I'm sure about it.
I'm completely sure.
Randy read the ordinance to me.
Oh, I'm sure.
Even special, there's nothing about special events. You could do a temporary sign, and it's got to be 12, 4 by 10. It's got to be there's no feather flags. They're completely illegal. So that's why that's why I hate that people spend money on these, and then put them up, and then Randy, you go tell them to take it down, because that's costing builders, people money, realtors money. It's not fair to people that I don't know how we get the word out. It's personal because I had to tell somebody who just bought them the day prior and put them up.
So there's not any opportunity to use them for a grand opening or anything?
Not really, not,
Only on Saturdays and Sundays.
our code guy doesn't work that well, and we're on YouTube, so.
But we may start working on it. Gotta throw that out.
Is they-
So- So the issue of this agenda item, are we actually talking about doing something?
No, I was just throwing it out there if y'all wanted to move forward on something.
Yeah, I'd be fine with a short period for grand openings or something like that.
Anytime you change an ordinance is a very procedural process. You can't just say, hey, we're gonna make a motion.
No. we
Wave,
actually-
hand wave it.
Yeah, you got your 30 days.
Yeah.
to begin with.
Well, yeah, that's after we pass it.
I was gonna say, we're not passing it tonight, so just for the sake of the conversation. Now that just for the sake of awareness, that's more difficult to enforce because the net zero policy is real easy. It's like you see a sign and say no. If we allow it for a little bit, then
You want that out there? Then who's counting the time?
yeah.
And how do you keep track of that?
I just need
For a whole
one
city.
day for a grand opening. That's-
When's that gonna be?
May
May 8th. Can I make a motion to allow feathered flags on May 8th at their property?
Well,
I mean, I do make a motion.
It's amending an ordinance, so I think it has to be public.
Well, I don't want to amend the ordinance. I just want to.
I think you're asking for a variance.
Permission, yes. But, like, can we do that?
No. Unfortunately, there's no, I mean,
If you
I'm
wouldn't
looking for the-
have said that in front of Randy,
Yeah.
now it's,
now Randy's gonna go there on that 8th, like,
he's writing it down.
4:00.
Man,
Yeah, it's gonna be at 4 PM, so.
Yeah, Randy, you have a day off on the 8th.
Be on Ward,
After 5 every day.
be in Ward 6 on that
Saturday
day.
and Sunday. You're good. But anyway, I just want to throw that out there.
It's up to the executive branch about enforcement. That's really, I'll, Mayor, I.
Yeah, I'm just like, we've got one person doing code, so somebody can't be one.
But-
We're on code, I think.
But I agree with
One
me.
guy breaking his neck around here. Like for 3 years after a tornado, we got people with blue roofs, so.
But I like, good fellow Mike Lott's thought process, and maybe there are exceptions. There's a way to scratch its itch. Right now we have, the only thing we have is a blind eye. And I don't think that's fair to say, legitimately say, we do it for you, but we tell this business person, SoCo person, take them down. That's, we don't pick winners and choosers, winners and losers up here. We can't do that. But if we put an ordinance and maybe put a date when we're bringing this up on the next agenda item, we can do that.
Okay, good deal. Thank you all on that. I would add as well in the mayor's report, since Matt is not here, I can openly say this, and if you can distract Paula from hearing any of this, that would be great. Obviously, I'd always said, no, her,
He did say Matt.
not Matt, you.
Not you.
Not Don't make me do that. But actually, we've got a whiteboard on the down at the water department, and that thing has gotten very clouded, very heavy, and tons of stuff on there to the point where you just go back there and scratch your head. And you guys were doing everything you could do, trying to get the resources back there. But I would invite the aldermen to go back there after this meeting even and take a look at it. And so my hat's off to that, to Clearwater and the work they are doing. I know nobody knows if you guys are fixing water leaks in a certain area, the town doesn't know. But I've always thought that was a deal when we went with that it was going to be something that would be continually improving and we would work into the right size that we need that department. So appreciate the work you guys have been doing. And obviously with Josh, what he does. How many teams we got Saturday?
This Saturday is unsure of, we'll know the exact amount tomorrow afternoon.
Had this past weekend had 30, 40?
Yeah.
And that was girls softball on the turf.
Yes.
We
had
played a lot of that.
We had them on all 7 on 7 fields. this past
We've made drainage improvements at the triplex, but at the same time, they get to play on the turf too.
They played on both. They played on the triplex too.
And we're gonna bring up soccer again. In somewhere. But anyway.
And Mayor, can you add through the 17th that the Petal High School Arts Council or Petal School District is doing a art show from basically all day. Yeah, so, but they're great opportunity to shine our our next generation of artists in the Pedal School District. So be sure to get a chance to go over there, and it's open during the day too, so you can just meander through. So appreciate it if you get a chance to do that.
If I could just back to the spinner. Pennant, spinners, streamers, balloons, and similar devices conveying a commercial message shall not be permitted, but this does not regulate open houses, grand openings, for rooting.
But if you go number 1, it says feather banners feather banners are prohibited.
Does. This says unless it's
Whichever
open house.
One time, somebody I know.
That's why you're the mayor, Mayor.
So I didn't never have my attention because I had named it. I said, well, like I said, it was a workable number through the years, and just seemed like the last 6 months it's gotten wow. But anyway, that's all I've got. Miss Ada, what you got?
Oh, y'all need some new, make y'all some new ordinance, where that,
Ordinance.
Miss Ada, you just voted us back in. We haven't even made it. We haven't even made it in your term.
Man, that's hard.
You need to change, because they have a year, so you need to change.
There we go. Thank you, Miss Ada.
Y'all don't Sunday,
I'll expect your presentation on my desk.
Oh, no, she was only pointing towards mine.
Mike, sector. All right, I'll lie. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion, motion second, all in favor?
Nay.
All right.
Work session today.
Nay. One day I want her to put nay.
For some reason. Oh.